Hey everyone, it's Dylan with CT Aquatics, and today we're going to go over these coral quarantine systems. Oh, and if you enjoy our content, please make sure to like and subscribe. So coral quarantine, just like fish quarantine, has a very important purpose, and it's to help to keep pests out of the main display tank. You can't always prevent the pests entirely from staying out of the main display tank, but by taking this extra step, you can greatly reduce the risk of them getting into your display tank and harming your coral. So the setup on this tank is also very minimal, like the fish quarantine system, but it does have a little bit more to it because coral require a little bit more life support than the fish do. So in this system, we have a piece of live rock, a heater, we have a hang on the back filter that contains a ceramic media, we have our frag rack, and we also have a power head. So the power head and the filter are the biggest differences between this tank and the fish quarantine. The power head will provide flow for the coral, and the hang on the back filter contains a ceramic media that will house the bacteria to help keep the cycle in the tanks. So again, these are the coral quarantine tanks, and they serve a very major purpose of helping to keep pests out of our main display tank. Today, we're going to be talking about our fish quarantine system and how we set it up. On our rack, we currently have two 40-gallon breeders. Each tank is set up in an identical manner. We tried to keep them as simple as possible, so I started just by painting the base and the back of the tank to keep it solid, just to keep the aesthetics of the tanks looking nice. And then I simply just added an air stone, a heater, and a couple of rocks to the tank. And also a light, but that's not necessarily critical. The purpose of having a quarantine system like this is so that we can prevent any diseases from getting into our main display tank. Any fish that you get has the potential to carry a wide variety of diseases. So if you put it in a quarantine tank, you can prevent it from adding those diseases to your display tank and killing potentially everything that you have in your tank. If a fish comes with a disease, it's much better for it to die in a quarantine system where it's by itself and not spread the disease, rather than to put it in the display tank, have it die anyways, and kill everything else in the tank along with it. So this is one of the quarantine tanks. Both of the tanks are set up in an identical manner. Both of them have an air stone and a heater to keep it as simple as possible. They also have a few pieces of rock just to give the fish a hiding spot. You could also use PVC instead, which is actually probably a better hiding spot for the fish in a quarantine tank, as it won't absorb any of the medications that you may add. The rock can absorb some of the medication and it can leach out later on. If I am to add any medication into the tank, I'll probably pull the rock out first and replace it with PVC. I just prefer the way that the rock looks overall. To start off with this quarantine system, I'm not going to add any medications. We're just going to put fish in and keep them under observation for 3 to 4 weeks. And if they do start to show any signs of diseases, that's when we would add in a medication. All right, so yeah, as you can see, they're both very simple tanks. It's a very simple setup, but it has a very important goal of helping to keep diseases out of our display tank. And if you enjoy our content, please make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications to join us on our journey through the sea.